Hello and welcome to another process video for a 12 by 12 scrapbook layout. I'm Shauna and I'm passionate about pages. I really love the simplicity of the design I'm going to show you and the way that you can dress it up with just a cool couple of little bitty bobs. So these are all the goodies that I'm using today. I'm using the floral alphabet stamp, which I'm very much in love with. Stencils. I've got a heart stencil today. I'm going to be using the Stickles glitter gel, but if you don't own that, I'm going to show you a way that you can get a similar effect using just regular Stickles. We'll be stamping the title with Memento ink because I'm going to colour the flowers using metallic markers. I've used the stitched square thin cuts and stitched rectangle thin cuts, and then of course some tape, and you just need a palette knife or something similar to apply the stickles. So let's get started. Before we start, I just wanted to show you in the catalogue where to look for the stencils. So this is page 81 of the catalogue. It's the 2019-2020 annual Close to My Heart catalogue. And I usually, before I choose my stencils, I actually have a look in here because it gives you a good overview of each design and you can choose one that's going to work with your layouts. So the hearts come from stencil pack 1 up in the top left there. And this page has the palette knives and texture paste, and then it has the glitter gel on the facing page that I'm going to use. All right, let's just pop some of these things out of the way. So what I do when I'm going to be stenciling is I figure out how my page is going to look, and I just place my photos so that I've got an idea of where I want the stencil to go. Okay, so this is a very simple photo placement. It's a block of 6 photos. These ones are all 3 by 4 and they're all portrait. This side, they're all landscape. Okay, I will make them, when I stick them down, I'll make sure that the bottom level is the same across both pages. And then just to add some interest, I've created some photo mats using the stitched square and rectangle thin cuts. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it in this light. There's a stitched line around the edge. So this was the middle size square that I used here, and then I used the smallest rectangle to create the little accent. Now this is a window that is going to highlight part of the photo. You don't have to worry about like positioning it to match the photo. Just choose to cut the hole in a place that's pleasing to you. Okay, so I did it down towards one corner, leaving an even border around each side. And if you look at these, they're actually, the hole is cut in the same spot because I ran them both through together. But because I've rotated them differently, it looks different. Okay, so I've got those ready to go to save you having to watch that process. And this is the way I'm going to have the photos arranged. So then it's just a matter of, depending on what stencil you've chosen, I've chosen one that has an all over design, so it doesn't really matter. But if you chose one that like the flower here, you might want to get, you know, a full flower somewhere, and so then that would matter. But I'm just going to have a look, and when I put the stencil on, if I just centered it on the page, the hearts would all be nicely within the frame, and I don't actually want that look. I want it to look like the hearts are coming in off the side, and I don't want to cover my whole background piece with hearts. So I know my title's going to go here, So I'm thinking, and also I know that a good part of this corner is going to be covered, okay? So I'm thinking that I might have some hearts down here and some hearts up here on this page. And then over on this page, I'll continue the hearts here and here. So they're kind of like corner, 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 and that will create a visual triangle. All right? So let's get on to that. The green piece here, the lagoon piece here, is cut to 11 inches. And then I've cut out the middle of my black piece so that I can use that excess cardstock on another project. And the same here. So I'm going to be working on my messy mat. Oh, one little tip. When I'd figured out my arrangement, I took a photo of the layout earlier so that when I come back to stick everything down, I can have a look how I had it arranged, okay? So all I need to do is place my template over. I'm going to zoom in here. All right. And I'm working on my all-purpose mat so that if there's any spills, it won't be the end of the world. This Stickles is, I'll have to check the name. So this behaves similarly to the little Stickles. It's a little bit more gel-like, so it behaves better with a palette knife. And then inside it, it has, I don't know if you can see them here, it has little tinsel circles, okay? So what you want to do is you actually want to pick it up with the back of your palette knife, not the front. And then you're going to just put it down where you want it. Now, don't kind of overwork it too much and scrape it from the plastic into the hearts. Okay. And you don't have to go too far up here because remember, my photos were going to be about 3/4 of an inch down. So I'm really only going to go up to about an inch with the hearts here. And I just kind of want them fading off. So I don't want like a solid band of them, really. Try not to work this too much. But having said that, I want it reasonably well covered, and I'd like to try to have some of those little asteroidy bits in there. So lift that up. How cute is that? And then I just have a cloth nearby that I can wipe off the stencil, wipe off my mat. And I do actually wipe the back of the stencil because sometimes a bit of the, when I'm wiping, the glitter goes through to the back. All right. And then let me position this one up here and I will add it. Now, I think oh no, I'm right. I'm good. So just keep adding till basically till it's filled the spots that you would like it to fill. And you know, try not to rush this bit, just enjoy the process. You can add a thick layer or a thin layer, it's completely up to you. And you know, each time you do it, you'll get a different effect. And maybe I'll do that little one heading off up there. Okay, now did you see I just used the middle of the stencil then, not the edge. You can use any part of the stencil when it's an all over design. And my cloth that I use, you can use like white baby wipes or paper towel, but I really don't want to put that sort of stuff into the rubbish, you know. So I just use an old flannel, and when I'm finished for the day, I'll give that a rinse and it will all be fine. So when you're done, you just want to put those aside to dry. So, you know, you can't start working with your photos straight away. And then you need to make sure that you clean this jar up. So you don't want to have any of the glitter around the rim, because that will dry hard and then the lid might be difficult to open. So once you've wiped it with your knife, just go around and make sure that the rim is clear, and then wipe off your knife as well. And then pop the lid on securely. Make sure it's nice and tight, because if the air gets into this, it can start to dry it out. Alrighty, so I just wanted to show you how you could use the regular Stickles to get a similar effect. What I found using the regular Stickles, it's not quite as easy, but if you want, you know, a different color or whatever, it is achievable. Take your palette knife and squeeze the Stickles straight onto your knife, okay? And then just run it down. So you see you don't have as much to work with, but you can still get the effect. Pretty cool, huh? So using the regular Stickles isn't quite as messy, because obviously you just pop the lid on and you're good to go. Now, before you go and then start doing anything else, highly recommend you go and wash your hands, wash your stencil, and give your cloth a little wee rinse. Okay, I've gone ahead and done a few things off screen. So I mounted the Lagoon to the black cardstock. I've positioned my photos, except for the one with the frame, and I've stamped my title. I stamped the title before I stuck the Lagoon to the black, just in case, you know, where the cut line is might have run across here, and that would impact the quality of the stamping. Okay, now if you're stamping direct to paper and it doesn't go as planned and you mess it up, it's not the end of the world, because you can always stamp on another piece of paper and put it over there. Even if it's the same color, you can position it over it and raise it on some foam dots, and it looks like it was just meant to be tone on tone, which is pretty cool. But I just wanted to show you the coloring. Okay, so I've colored the last 3 letters. So the coloring tool I've used is the metallic markers, and I find those brilliant for coloring on bright colored paper, okay, because they are opaque. So the Lagoon doesn't show through like on the pale pink and stuff like that. The metallic markers sit on top of the paper, and look how, you know, pretty those little silver berries look there. So I thought I would just show you a little of my text. 2 nibs on these pens. There's a brush nib and a like a pencil nib. I've been working with the brush nib because it has a really fine tip that I can get into those little tiny leaves and things. And you want to just work with a light touch. Now, it will cover over the black outline as well, but that doesn't matter, because in this design, this floral embellishment just enhances the letter. It's not like critical, you know, that your coloring is absolutely perfect. You could choose to leave those black as I've done, or you could go over them in the green. So now I'm using the vintage satin, which is the pinky color one, and I'll just colour the large flower, and I'm going to leave the center, but it's all right because I'm actually going to go over the center with silver. So if I happen to, you know, go too far with my pen, it won't be the end of the world, because when I swap over to the silver, that will sit on top of the pink. Okay, and then I'm going to do these two little buds here in pink as well, because they, you know, it looks like they're coming off the same branch as the big flower, so they would be the same color. And then I'm going to swap to my purple, which is Antique Pearl, and color that in. And again, there were 4 little dots in the center that got covered over, and I will just go back in a moment and add those with my silver marker. Okay, now these leaves don't have any of the little berries, but if you wanted to put a few in, you certainly could just put in a few dots so it sort of carries over. And that's as hard as that one gets. Let me show you. So how pretty is that? I love this floral alphabet because it's big and bold, but the colouring only takes minutes. It doesn't take ages. Yeah? All right, I'm going to zoom you out now, and we will have a look at both pages together. So when you have a look, do you remember I was saying I wanted to go up and down with my stenciling? So I got a bit of a triangular look. So that's what I've done there. I didn't go, I sort of deliberately kept it away from where the photos would be. But if you wanted to, you know, have it so that all the photos overlapped the hearts, you would just add more on the stickle, on the stencil. Do you know? It wouldn't really matter. Now, all that's needed is for me to add these. I'm going to pop this one up on some foam tape because it's the same color as the background. When I put that on foam tape, it will create a little bit of a shadow effect. And then this one, the pink one, is going to go up here. And I thought I would just show you how I get the photo positioned. So as I said, we pre-cut this without, all we needed to know was that square was going to, when it was cut, it was going to show us enough of the photo that we were wanting to highlight. So all I need to do is position the photo so that it'll be seen. And the way I do that is I actually add my tape to the back of the mount, not the photo. Okay, just make sure it's oriented the way you want. Position this because I want like those 3, because this tango was a bit of a stoush between both those dancers for the girl. So pop that on, and then you see a bit of the photo is hanging out here. So just go in with your scissors and give it a very inelegant, inaccurate cut so no one can see it. And then you'll be able to glue that down. Oh, sorry, this one's going on foam as well. And that will pop in there like that. All right? I'll do that and I'll come back and show you. Okie dokie. So you see I've stuck this photo mat down with the foam, and can you see what I was talking about with the bit of a shadow? And so then that it doesn't look flat anymore, and that being diagonally opposite the title gives an interesting sight line too. And I've popped my foam on here. So those of you who know me well know I love a good shaker card, and I've always got the leftover foam after you've you've made a shaker card from the inside. So I always use that. If you're putting a large element down on your page, make sure that you have foam in the middle of it, because otherwise if you only have it on the outside, once it goes onto your page, it can sometimes cave in the middle. Okay, so then it's just a matter of you know, positioning it, and always sort of look at, well, on this one it's the bottom and the left hand side that are going to be critical, that they line up, but be conscious if you've got an element hanging out that it's not going to, you know, I wouldn't want that going over her hair or anything like that. And then the layout is done except for my story. And what I'm going to do, I've got one more landscape photo that I will pop in a 3x4 flip flap so that you see the photo from the front, and that will flip out and my story will be written behind that. So I would love it if you give this a go and share some photos of what you've made. Tell me what you think, and if you have any questions, please pop them in the comments below this video. Hope you're having a wonderful scrappy day.